My parents lost a boy before I was born. They had me because they wanted a kid. Then they had two more kids, 3 and 5 years after me. They treated me like I was made of glass because I was the only boy. My sisters were treated very differently from me. My parents let them travel and play field hockey, and I could go on, but I'm getting angry just thinking about it. I was bullied for my parents' helicopter behavior. 10 years ago, I applied for university far enough away from them that they wouldn't be able to interfere with me. They tried to say they weren't going to pay for an out-of-state college. They withheld my educational account. I went into debt to get my education. I chose a major I knew would earn me money instead of studying what I wanted. I graduated 6 years ago, and I paid off my student loan. I have not spoken to my parents since I graduated from high school. I didn't let them take pictures with me when I graduated high school, and I didn't invite them to my college graduation. I've taken up all kinds of sports to see what I like. I scuba dive, rock climb, and do a bunch of other stuff that I enjoy. I played rugby for my college. I broke my eye socket during a game. I can't say I love that, but I love the freedom of getting hurt and not having my mommy and daddy rush to the field to see if I was okay. I talked to the rest of my family, my grandparents, uncles, aunts, and cousins, even my sisters. I only have one rule. Do not tell my parents how to get a hold of me. I maintain like 12 different Gmail accounts so that I'll know who to cut off if one gets compromised. I only had to do it to one of my cousins who thought my parents could talk me into going to her wedding, and I deleted the account. My middle sister said that my parents needed to talk to me. I spoke to my therapist. I agreed to meet with them at my therapist office, and they had to give me a cashier's check for the cost of my education before I would talk to them. But I guess they used the money to help my sisters get through school without debt, so they didn't have the money. My sister says that they're begging their parents for money, so I will talk to them. They might have to mortgage their home. I don't care. It'll be free for them to leave me alone. My sister says that I'm being very cruel. I just can't bring myself to care, but I need to know what someone without skin in the game thinks. My family are all too invested. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. For most of this, you're in the right. Certainly, it's reasonable for a therapist to help if they want to repair your emotional relationship. You don't owe them a relationship if that's not what you want. You need to let go of this money resentment, though. Lots of people have to pay for their own education. No one owed you a college fund. The issue is more that they tried to use the fund as leverage to control you. Asking for a cashier's check as a condition to meet with them wasn't classy. You either want to repair the relationship or let it go, but you aren't justified in extorting them any more than they were justified in trying to control your life decisions. I slightly disagree about the money part. I question whether this is money resentment or a way to keep them away without making a firm no. That feels protective to me and seems worth exploring with the therapist. There might be better ways to make that boundary a hard one. They use the money to control you, and now you're using it to control their access to you, and that feels fair to me. But I'm petty. And tell your sisters to stop talking to you about your parents. I'm going against the grain here and saying you are the idiot. Your parents were helicopter parents worried about your safety, not out of spite or some mean thing. The whole money thing is the topper. You chose to go out of state, and they said that they wouldn't pay for it. You knew they weren't going to pay for it. They never said that they would pay for an out-of-state school. So now you want them to give you the money they never said that they would? It's your choice to cut them out, but it seems like your parents did what they did out of fear and love. They weren't trying to be malicious. For background, my fiance, 30 cis female, works as an executive at a big company and gets to work from home in leggings and crop tops. She's regularly stating that she loves that about her job. She can do dyed hair, tattoos, etc., and they don't care. She's white, and she also comes from generational wealth. I do not, trans 29. I came from poverty and trailer trash and worked my way up to become a professor at an excellent private college. I'm Latinx. I love my job. I can also wear dyed hair, tattoos, and piercings, but I dress professionally. There was a nice work event to celebrate the fall quarter. The college president was there, It was in an art gallery downtown. Nice band, fancy cocktails, and we were allowed to bring a guest. I was nervous because, as an out trans guy, I regularly face a lot of microaggressions in the workplace, something my fiance knows and makes jokes about me being the token diversity hire. My fiance picked out 2 dresses the night before and asked me what I thought. I picked the flattering but not skin-tight one, made from nicer material, and it hugged her body in more appropriate areas. She got upset, cried because I didn't accept her as she was. The next day, I'm putting on my suit and tie. As I walk into the bathroom, I see her putting on the tight, less nice dress. We got into an argument. Finally, she put on the dress I picked. She didn't talk to me the whole night and pouted. She looked beautiful, but later she said I was controlling and that she felt rejected for who she was. I found out she told her friends, who now think I'm a controlling, toxic fiance. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. She's like, hey, pick between dress A and B. And he's like, okay, cool. I pick A. She's like, no, not that one. You don't respect me and my style. Like, what? Why are you even with her? I mean, she belittles your achievements, token diversity hire, disregards your struggles due to your ethnicity, and ignores social dress codes regarding your workplace environment, or rather makes a game out of it, and then talks awfully about you behind your back. I don't see how this spiraled into such a big deal, unless there's more going on. Who pouts over a dress? Did she set you up by asking you to pick a dress? Her reaction makes no sense, unless you were very mean about the other choice. Crying over this makes no sense. Adults know what's appropriate to wear in different situations, and she should know and understand why dressing more nicely at this event is essential to you. I think there are bigger issues here, and you think so too. Her calling you a token at your job as a joke is gross, and frankly, microaggression itself. I would think a lot about this relationship before making a bigger commitment. This is just the tip of a very large iceberg of issues. Agreed. I think you need to take the ring back. That was overreacting for her to call you a toxic fiance so quickly to all of her friends when she asked you to pick between 2 dresses that she picked out in the first place. Sounds like a trap she placed. Red flags, red flags, red flags. She's having second thoughts and making up excuses to get angry. Makes me wonder if someone else has caught her eye. I, 26 male, recently got betrothed to my dear fiance, 25 female, who I met when she was a transfer student in senior year, and we had to pair up for a history project. Ever since then, she's been my beloved. My mother has had quite a one-sided, tumultuous relationship with her, as she's always believed that she found my money more appealing than me, which I completely disagree with. My mother had an issue with all of my girlfriends before my senior year, too. She just holds this idea that no one is good enough for her son. She's believed this ever since she met her after 8 months of knowing her. I invited her to move into my place as she struggled with money and had neglectful parents. Another reason why my mother thinks my fiancé is using me is that she never came for money and has struggled with it as her parents both were drug addicts who ended up losing their jobs most of the time. Fast forward nearly 8 years later, we've been planning our Christmas party that'll take place a week before Christmas Day. We've been doing this for the last 5 years, and my mother has attended every single one on the condition of not speaking down on my partner or being hostile. We weren't engaged last Christmas, but we are now, so my mother has been immensely hostile about my fiancé to me, which I haven't allowed and told her to stop. A couple of days ago, we had a small dinner party at my place, and my mother showed up unexpectedly, as my sister had told her about it. She came, sat down, and had been visibly drinking. After my fiancé asked her if she wanted water or a plate of food, she looked at her with disgust and said, "You mean my son's water and my son's food?" Again, insinuating and trying to make it seem like there's some unbalanced dynamic or that I have an issue with this. She's probably helped me in more ways emotionally than I could have ever helped her in any aspect, so I was upset by this and escorted her out. She was calling me blind for not seeing her for what she was, and I told her not to come to the Christmas party or anywhere near us until she understood how immature and despicable she was being. My fiance tries so hard to be good friends with my mother and has never said anything bad about her, even when we're alone. My mother's been upset, saying that I picked my fiance over her, and how on earth could I uninvite her from the Christmas party that she loves to attend every year. My sister, 22, has told me that I went too far and that mother is just being a mother. Am I the idiot for doing this? Not the idiot. The excuse that mother's just being a mother. Nope, that's not just being a mother. That's being toxic for no reason. There's really no upside to inviting her. If you do, she'll ruin the party. If you don't, she'll just be mad at you. There's no collateral damage by not inviting her. You've been together for 8 years. At this point, your mother needs to get over her perceived grievance. You're right to protect your fiancé. Well done, sir. But also, her flying monkey, the sister, needs to be removed from your life as well. Sister is a don't rock the boat person. If she's a gold digger, she's definitely going for the long con. How can anyone think someone is a gold digger after 8 years? Mom definitely needs a timeout. My mother has been upset that I picked my fiancé over her. Do you not see how gross this sentiment is? Ugh, I'm so sorry. Yep, this isn't about choosing one person over another. This is about saying that some behavior is simply unacceptable, no matter who it's from. You did the absolute correct thing, and you were right in calling your mother's behavior immature and despicable. Your fiancé is a saint for putting up with this, and you're a good person for standing with her. This happened in October, and my daughter's still acting cold and hardly speaking to me. My daughter, Teen, works an after-school job 5 days a week. Her high school had a costume contest for Halloween. My daughter and her friends planned a group costume to enter. She went with her friends after school to buy costumes. I picked her and her friends up from the store, and they showed me their costumes. My daughter spent $80 on hers. I was angry. That's a lot of money to spend on something you're only going to wear for a few hours. Very irresponsible use of money. I told her as much in the car and told her it was ridiculous. I dropped her friends off and took her back to the store to return the costume and accessories. Her friends found someone else to take her place in the group, and they won the contest and a $100 Visa gift card to split. My daughter came home from school on Halloween upset. She claimed she had to sit and watch while her friends had fun, and she missed out on everything. I pointed out to her that after splitting the gift card, it would be way less than she spent on the costume, and it was only a few hours, but she didn't want to listen to reason. Now, months later, she's still moody and mostly ignoring me. My ex-husband told me I made her miss out, and she worked so much that she missed out on a lot of stuff with her friends, and I could have let her have this. But at the end of the day, I saved her $80. I'm just trying to teach my daughter how to be responsible with money. She could have gotten a cheaper costume, especially since she would have only worn it for a few hours. You are the idiot. Your daughter works. She earns money. Her money. As long as her obligations are taken care of, what does it matter if she splurges $80 on a costume? She can reuse it another time. Just being her parent doesn't give you control of the money she earns through her work. Congratulations, you just strained your relationship with your daughter for $80 that weren't even yours. I hope it was worth it. What you wanted to teach your daughter, the value of saving. What she learned, her mother cares more about money than friendships and her daughter's happiness. Furthermore, you taught her that you would micromanage her until she moved out. Congratulations! Your lesson on $80 will prompt her to spend that money on rent, utilities, and groceries at her first opportunity. Hopefully one of her friends will be her roommate. She spent her own money on the costume, and the point of the contest was to have fun with her friends. The $100 prize was irrelevant. $80 for a wonderful memory and experience? Unfortunately, she'll never forget this Halloween and how you ruined it for her. How often have you looked back on your childhood and remembered how your parents destroyed a fun moment? You took away memories and experiences and wonderful friendship bonding moments for $80. I can't wait for the day you tell her not to bother with a graduation gown or bridal dress or anything else that she'll only spend a few hours in because the memories aren't worth the money. Go and apologize to your daughter. I, 18 female, babysit for several families in my neighborhood. One of the families that I babysit for recommended me to this woman who's new to the neighborhood. She contacted me on Wednesday, asking if I could babysit her 2 kids from Friday evening through Saturday afternoon. Apparently, it was her friend's birthday, and they were spending a night in the mountains to celebrate. She asked me to show up early so she could discuss things with me. Nothing abnormal, especially since I've never met them before. I show up and she starts going over the usual stuff, and then she starts talking about insulin and blood sugars. One of the kids, a kindergartner, has type 1 diabetes, and she didn't think it would be important to let me know beforehand. I have zero experience caring for diabetic children. I told her I wasn't comfortable, and she just said, "Oh, don't worry, it's easy," and then tried to show me how to administer insulin. I also told her that I'm squeamish around needles, and she kind of laughed that off and continued trying to teach me. I finally had to cut her off and basically told her that, unfortunately, I wasn't comfortable caring for her diabetic child on such short notice, especially since she would be hours away and probably drinking, let's be honest. She started freaking out and begging me to stay, as she didn't want to miss her trip. It seemed like she was about to cry as I left, making me feel bad. I texted her when I got home and basically said that in the future, I would be willing to try, but I'd like to have some kind of trial run and we could build up to overnight once I actually knew what I was doing. She read my text but didn't respond. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is not the kind of stuff you learn in a 5-minute chat before someone walks out the door and entrusts their kid to you. Since you're neither qualified nor comfortable performing such a task, you made the right choice. That lady sounds like a crazy idiot to me. I'd honestly not want to babysit for this woman in the future, regardless. Who leaves their kids with someone they've never met before for the first time for an overnight babysitting gig? Also, not mentioning beforehand that she expected the babysitter to give injections to her 5-year-old is insane. I had that same experience when I was a teen. A friend of a woman I sat for wanted to hire me for a few nights, and I was totally okay with it. What with her price range, $200 a night? Okay. Well, don't I find out the day before that her kid has diabetes? Hard nope. She goes over how he can do everything himself. He was 7 or 8 at the time, and I basically won't have to touch a thing. I said, what if something goes wrong? It won't. But what if it does? You worry too much. Sorry, lady, this is way above my pay grade. I walked right out of there and told her no. I don't feel comfortable with that amount of pressure. She called me names, spit at me, and screamed. So I ran home as fast as possible. I'll tell you what my mom told me. You are not obligated to care for a child with health concerns that could lead to a severe situation. You have the right to say no, and you did nothing wrong. I'm so glad you commented. All it takes is mistaking the slow-release insulin versus rapid one-time, and you're in a diabetic coma. If you prepare the dose and inject it before bed, the person will not wake up. That's not hyperbole. It's a reality I've witnessed firsthand. Good job standing up for yourself, OP.